I recently asked you guys what you would rather see, keto muffins or cupcakes, and the majority of you guys wanted recipes for keto muffins. But I feel like we all agreed that cupcakes were just muffins with frosting on top. Victoria said it best when she commented that muffins are just princesses without the tiara, which totally made me chuckle. So if you really wanted to have some keto cupcakes instead of muffins, all you'd have to do is just add some frosting to these recipes. Today I'm going to share with you guys 2 holiday-inspired keto muffin recipes. The first one is going to be a keto version of that Starbucks cream cheese pumpkin muffin that is so famous. And then I'm also going to show you how to turn pecan pie into a muffin. So let's get started. Now, before we get to baking, I need to go make myself some coffee. Now, I'm not a huge fan of black coffee in the morning. I usually have to add some sort of like collagen-based creamer to it. But this morning I thought I'd try something different. I'm gonna try a keto coffee collagen powder by today's sponsor, which is Iconic. So Iconic teamed up with the folks over at Force-O-Matic, you know, the mushroom people, to produce a collagen coffee creamer that contains adaptogens from lion's mane and reishi mushrooms. It's dairy-free, contains MCT oil, as well as collagen sourced from grass-fed animals. And it even has 100 milligrams of caffeine from fair trade coffee out of Colombia. And those Force-O-Matic adaptogens from the lion's mane and the reishi mushroom help support immune system, help with memory and focus. If you guys are interested in trying Iconic's keto collagen coffee powder with the Force-O-Matic mushrooms in it, I'll have some information listed down below in the description box on where you can get it. And of course, coffee always pairs well with muffins in the morning for breakfast. All right, let's get started with our first keto muffin recipe, which is the Copycat Starbucks pumpkin muffin with that cream cheese in the center. We're gonna start by making some brown butter, and the brown butter really sets this recipe apart from other keto pumpkin muffin recipes. So in a small saucepan, you want to heat a half a cup of unsalted butter over medium heat. You want to cook that, just mixing it occasionally until the butter has melted and it starts to brown. You know it's brown when it starts to get kind of brown color, but it gets that really sweet, nutty aroma. It smells so good. At that point, you want to remove it from the heat because you don't want to let it burn. And we're going to set that aside to cool. Next, we're going to whisk together our dry ingredients. So in a medium bowl, you want to mix together 1.5 cups of almond flour and a half a cup of protein powder, along with 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1.25 teaspoons of salt, along with our seasoning, which is going to be 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Once those are combined, we're going to set aside and move on to our wet ingredients. In a large bowl, we're going to mix together 3 eggs, 1.5 cups of pumpkin puree. Make sure you're using 100% pumpkin puree and not the pumpkin pie filling, because that has carbs and excess sugars in it. And this is probably about just 1 can of pumpkin if you don't want to have to measure out 1.5 cups of pumpkin puree. 1/4 cup of golden sugar-free sweetener, and 1/2 cup of sugar-free maple syrup. Once that's combined, we're going to add in our dry ingredients. And then after that, add in that brown butter. Then we're going to scoop this into a muffin tin that's lined with muffin liners. And you want to fill it up into the top because these won't really rise all that much. And then we're going to move on to our cream cheese filling. In a medium bowl, we're going to combine 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1/2 cup of heavy cream, 1/4 cup of a sugar-free sweetener of your choice. I'm using a monk fruit blend sweetener, 3 tablespoons of coconut flour. This is just going to help thicken it up a bit. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. We're going to combine that together and then put it into a piping bag. And then to each of your muffins, you're gonna pipe in a little bit of this cream cheese filling. Next, these will go into the oven to bake at 375 degrees for around 45 minutes. You also have the option of sprinkling on some pumpkin seeds if you'd like. It's just more for appearance and texture. Once they're done, bring them out of the oven, let them cool completely, and they will kind of deflate a little bit on the top. That's normal. You could actually combat this if you wanted to add more cream cheese frosting to it, just to help puff them up, you can. And that's our recipe for keto pumpkin muffins with cream cheese filling. That's Starbuck's copycat recipe. Up next, I'm going to show you how to make keto pecan pie muffins. Now, these are super simple to make and they are so good, especially when they're warm and fresh out of the oven. In a large bowl, you're going to add 1 cup of brown or golden sweetener of your choice. I'm going to be using a monk fruit erythritol blend, a half a cup of almond flour, 1 tablespoon of coconut flour, and a half a teaspoon of salt, and then 2 cups of chopped pecans. We're going to whisk this together until it's combined, and then we're going to add in our wet ingredients, which is 2/3 cup of softened butter and 2 eggs. Mix this together with an electric mixer until everything is combined. And then we're going to scoop this into our muffin tin. I've lined these with muffin liners, and I've sprayed each of the liners with some cooking spray just to prevent them from sticking to the paper. You want to add batter evenly to each of your muffin liners, and this will pretty much fill it to the top because these won't really rise all that much as well. And then we're going to top each of these with a whole pecan. These will go in the oven in a 350-degree oven for around 12 minutes. Once they're done cooking, remove them and let them cool. I do like to have these when they're warm because if you break them open, they have that sort of gooey pecan pie texture. It is so good, but they are a little bit crumbly, but as long as you are fine with that, and they're totally good to eat with a fork. If you do let them cool completely, they will set and be more, hand-friendly basically. And those are our 2 keto holiday-inspired muffin recipes. I will have one coming out for Christmas time for you guys, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I post new recipes.